Hello, my dear friends. So I'm Kavita. I welcome you in the new episode of Spiritual Talks. Today, I have a question for you. Who is a meditator? Why one should meditate? Do you think only monks can meditate? Or do you think those who have challenges in their life should start meditation? So today we will come up with a lot of discussions with an author of a beautiful book, Dr. Kajal Tehri. She is an assistant professor of English in Delhi University College. She was leading a normal yet disconnected life. She was very happy, but still she decided to go for a quest of fulfillment and to search meaning in her life. She is an ardent reader and author of this beautiful book. The title itself is very interesting. The title is "And I Thought Only Monks Could Meditate." So, welcome Kajal ji. Welcome in this show of Spiritual Talks. So, Kajal ji, first I want to know about your journey. How did you come into meditation, and how's all this journey started?
Namaste Kavita ji and namaste all the viewers. So as Kavita ji has already introduced, I'm Dr. Kajal Tehri and I am a professor by profession. And as you are asking me about the year in which meditation began, so that was the year 2017. So in 2017, I had just finished my PhD and I was very disappointed because I had thought that I would feel really great after achieving this particular degree, which I had worked hard for so long. But I didn't feel any great. It didn't feel like something revolutionary had happened to my life. It was the same me, the same complaining me, the same cribbing me. Nothing had changed. So that was a kind of wake up movement, a moment. And I realized that all these toys in the outside world will not give me any pleasure. So more money, more cars, more degrees were not for me. I don't know. It was a wake up moment for me. So that's how the journey began in 2017. So I started thinking of Vipassana. But Vipassana, I got to know, was a program whereby you had to, be out of your house and you have to leave things behind for 10 to 15 days. And it was not possible for me at that amount of time because my baby was small. So then I started surfing the internet for meditation centers. And what caught my attention, what caught my eye was the word pyramid. So that's how it all started. Then I visited the Pyramid Meditation Center, and then there's no looking back.
Great. So it was 2017. And when did you meet Patriji?
The very next week.
Okay.
The moment I decided to go to Pyramid Meditation Center, I went there and I was pretty impressed because they were not charging anything. And to my mind, nothing comes free. So it was a big shock for me when they actually didn't charge, when they actually were not quoting any hidden charges. Generally, there are hidden charges. They don't tell you in the beginning, and eventually they reveal. So I was just wanted to check out that, okay, what are they hiding from me? So when I went there, they still didn't talk about the money, and I also got to know through somebody that their Guruji was visiting the next week. So 1 week I go to Pyramid, and another week Patri sir is there at the center, and I meet him there.
Okay, that's great. So it's really wonderful journey, and yeah, of course, we all think about that money part because everywhere that commercialization is there. So let's go into your journey with your book. So the title itself is really very interesting, and I thought only monks could meditate. So how did you get that inspiration to write a book? Was that were you earlier also writing such kind of things? And tell something about your journey with your book.
Yes, Kavita. So my journey began almost spontaneously. I have written earlier also, but I used to write small papers, short papers. So I've always been into writing and speaking about things. I've always done that. But I never knew that I could write a full-fledged book about my journey as a meditator and where it took me. So I never knew that I could write a book about that. And very strongly, I was getting this intuition that I had to write a book, something like a bestseller. So the word bestseller really stayed with me, that yes, I had to write an interesting book on spirituality about my experiences, an ordinary woman's experiences. So that intuition, it grew to such an extent that I had to start writing it. Otherwise, I would have gone mad, perhaps. So I had to start writing it, and I started writing it almost simultaneously. At that point of time, Patri sir was not keeping well.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, very unwell. But in my mind always thought that no, sir is going to recover from all of this, and because he's going to stay with us for a very, very long time. So my conscious mind refused to believe that perhaps this was an intuition guided by him only. It was my soul knew that, and that is why I had started writing down this book just a couple of weeks before sir had passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but my soul knew, but I refused to acknowledge that he's going to go anywhere. So this is how, with very strong intuition, something I felt that my head would explode if I didn't write, if I didn't express myself. So that is how this book started. And once I started, there was no looking back. But the most interesting thing was that when I finally got to know that Sir was actually in a very delicate condition, and when I went to Kartal to meet up with Sir, of course, I could see that he was very, very unwell. He was perhaps on his last legs, but I still refused to acknowledge. Still believing that some kind of miracle would happen. That didn't happen, but what happened was that when I came back from Kartal after being with Sir, his physical presence and his the process of vacating his body, when I came back, then I realized that my writing had gone up several inches, several notches. It had gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look back at my writing of what I was writing before he passed away, that looked very kiddish as compared to what I ended up writing after that. So the book acquired a structure all its own. I didn't have a structure in my mind. I didn't know what I would write, since I'm not a third eye master. I don't get visions. I get intuitive promptings. But I'm not, I don't see those movies, as you say. So I don't see those movies. Yes, I get inspiration. And whenever I need some guidance, I get an image or something. But otherwise, I generally hit the zero state. So I'm not a very vivid third eye master. So I was wondering what I would write. But when I went on to write this book, I was very happy with the kind of reviews that I started getting from people. That that it made them feel this was real. That meditation could be done by normal people. Generally people think that only people who are very unwell, very sick, and bahut dukhi, poor, battling things, only they can learn meditation, and they get into meditation. But I didn't have these issues. My health was fine. My job I loved. My relationships are very loving. So I had no motivation per se to enter into meditation, but yet I felt that emptiness. And so this is what I chronicle in my book, and I thought only monks could meditate.
Right.
So it has received some very good reviews in Amazon. I'm so glad to be able to touch people's lives across the world.
Right. So where else this book is available? As you said, it's available in
Yes.
Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friends, this is the book in question. It's such a beauty. I think she's a beauty. So this is the book, and it is available across the world through Amazon and through Flipkart. And it is Amazon. It is available in this hardcover version. It's called the paperback version, actually. The version that you see. So this is called the paperback version, and in the Kindle edition. Wherever you order it across the world, people have ordered across the world. So I can tell you for sure.
That's beautiful. So yes, friends, you can order this book, and it's really amazing. I have seen the reviews. It's wonderful. So thank you, Kajal ji, for sharing about this book. So could you please tell something like, what is your inspiration? As you said that it didn't come from any lack feelings, or So what was that inspiration actually? Because yeah, normally people, they think only monks or only who have problems in life, they can meditate. How's your journey started? As you said that you started your journey, you started surfing over internet and across nearby centers. So how's your journey started, and how was your initial meditation experience?
Yes, so that's a very interesting question, because the first time I went to the center, I had started meditating even before that. Watching a couple of videos of Sir, I had started meditation. So when I went to the center, uh, I was a little disappointed, because I thought that my mind is still not calm. Because there were so many thoughts, thousands of thoughts. It was like the moment I would go quiet, thoughts would come attacking. So I thought that, is this practice even working? Because I initially, when I sat for 10-15 minutes, it kept on, my mind was so full of thoughts about people I had to meet, about what I had to cook, what my mom-in-law had said to me, what all was left to do in the house, what all kids had to be done with the kids. So, my mind was in an overdrive. I didn't know what was happening. Later on, I realized, when the mind started calming down, then I realized that this was my own garbage that I had piled up over so many years, and that needed to settle down. So that, only then one gets into a meditative state. But yes, when one begins one's journey, one is always, one has to confront a lot of thoughts, a lot of negative patterns. And I learned over a period of time that you just go with the flow and you accept, and you just carry on with your practice, come what may. Things will happen. The water that is muddied, the mud will settle down. It might take 20 days, it might take 30 days, it might take even more, but the mud will ultimately settle down, because that is in the nature of the mud to settle down, and in the nature of clear water to rise. So we just have to be with the practice, be with the breath, which is the golden gateway to all our infinite potential, to all our gifts. That is how the meditation journey started. And I didn't stop meditating even for a single day. It's been 5 years now, more than 5 years. Not a single day has gone by when I thought that I would not meditate. The moment I learned meditation, I have stuck with the practice, come what may, because I find it so, I don't know, soul satisfying. Everything else is, it gives you material satisfaction, material happiness, but what fulfills your soul, this is one practice which fulfills my soul, come what may. So I have stuck with it like a magnet.
Yeah, that's true. That's beautiful. And it's really not easy to continuing meditation for every single day, all 365 days. So, how do you manage your time being an assistant professor in a college and being a wife? And so many things are around, to take care of. So, how did you manage your time to write this book?
I must confess that I wrote this book obsessively. And once I started, I just would not put it down. I was kind of, I was working like bending backwards, but I would not put the book down. And my husband was not so sure what I was doing, because he thought that, who would even read your book? So he would make fun of me, saying that, okay, at least your sister would read this book, if not nobody else in the whole world. Generally, people hit a zero state in meditation. In writing, I would hit that zero state.
Wow.
So it gave me a kind of high. I would not feel like talking. Even while reading a book, you can take a break and you can talk to people. But while typing on my laptop, I would not want him to speak at all. I would not want others to be around and interfere with the process, because I don't know, it was like a sacred responsibility. I felt that it is a sacred responsibility, and that it comes naturally to me. Writing comes naturally to me. So I thought that it was a sacred responsibility, and I had to do it. I had to fulfill it in record time. So that book of course came out in its divine timing. But yes, I really bent myself backward. My arm had gone really numb, punching those tabs on the computer. So for quite a lot of time, then I had to take some days off for my arm to recover from all that I had, it had been through. So that's how it happened that I just continued writing. It's time. I guess I'm an assistant professor, but I don't know, somehow, my soul plan also paves the way for making time for all these, because I have chosen a profession which doesn't require you, 6 hours, 10 hours in a day. You just have a cup. You attend to your lectures, and that's it. And I took lighter courses wherein I didn't have to prepare much, because I had my book to work on. And the universe supports you when you are on a mission. The universe is fully with you. So whatever I wanted, it happened in that particular period. So yes, things happened, and my job has never been an obstruction. I enjoy, and my job is an extension of my meditation practice, because the first thing I do in my class is to make my students sit in meditation.
Wow.
So my job is an extension of my practice. I don't see it as separate from my practice. Nothing actually is separate from the practice.
So you teach meditation also in college, and that's wonderful. Yeah. So how do you get support from college for teaching meditation?
So in my college, there was initially not much enthusiastic reception, because meditation, as they say, is for the old. It is for sadhus who want to give up the world. It is not for ordinary educated people. That is a common perception. And I would like to read out this opening from my book, just a couple of lines,
Yeah,
which are
please.
very relevant.
Yes, please.
So this is the dedication in which I write. This book is dedicated to everyone who has ever wanted to learn meditation, but then thought it was only for old or weird or saffron clad or some such people. This book is for everyone who thought meditation was not for cool people. This book is for everyone who thought meditation was only for better work productivity and focus. In short, this book is for you. So it is for people like all of us. I had a very clear vision in my mind that this book should break grounds into educated classes, highly educated classes. And that, I think, to some extent, it has touched those people. It is eventually, it's reaching out to many, many people. But it has helped me that I am a professor and I have published papers and been there and done that, and yet doing meditation. So I think this book breaks that stereotype that meditation is for certain type of people only.
So yeah, that's really very beautiful thing, beautiful truth of each and everyone's life, that everyone should meditate. Doesn't matter from where are you, what is your age group, and anything else. And yeah, as you said, for highly professional people, because they are continuously very busy. A lot of tasks are there, a lot of things are there to end up with. So meditation is for each and every one. And my best wishes to you through this book, to entire world. And what all do you describe in this book? Could you please share some experiences and quotes?
So Kavita, I think I would share the titles of the chapters, because they're very beautiful, firstly, and secondly, because that is how this is my journey, how things changed for me when I started meditating. So the very first, one of the chapters is I do love you, I swear. So this is when my husband had started believing that I was no longer, his lovely wife that I used to be, that I was going to become a sannyasi or something. I was going to leave house, leave the home behind. This insecurity was very big in his mind. And I had to actually, I was trying to convey to him that no, I'm not going to become a sannyasi or anything. And I had to try to convince him. But, eventually I was able to. But this particular chapter, I do love you, I swear, is about that love which blossomed after the meditation. So there was love before meditation, then there was a drop, because I was myself negotiating with a lot of issues, and so there was that drop, and then there was the ascension, I would say, when our love story, it hit a new note after we both turned to meditation. This is one of the chapters. Then there is a chapter, I'm just recounting from memory whatever I remember. One is a chapter, cooking is such a waste of time. So this is also very common. I would very proudly tell my friends that, oh, I don't cook, I outsource. So very proudly I would tell them this. And when I entered into PSSM, I realized that cooking is a sacred responsibility. And not everyone can be trusted with sacred responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I realized that it was a medium of changing the vibration of the whole house, the whole world. And I also describe about how Sir would cook lovingly for all of us.
Yes.
And he would make sure that we had food that he had prepared so lovingly. So this is my journey of understanding the value of food, understanding the energetics of food. shifting from a non-vegetarian diet to a pure vegetarian diet. This is all I capture in this chapter, which is cooking is such a waste of time. So this is one of the most profound learnings from my life, that sacred responsibilities cannot be given to everybody. So if you are the woman of the house, you are the Shakti of the house.
Very,
She's just
very
not simply just a housewife. Generally we think of women as just a housewife. They themselves think of themselves as just a housewife. So not realizing that it is a sacred, beautiful responsibility. And so this is one of my favorite chapters in the book. There's another chapter which is no secrecy about intimacy.
Mm.
So this chapter talks about sexual relations between the couple and how they evolve when one becomes a meditator, and how we are so conditioned not to talk about sexual relationships, to remain quiet about them, to repress our sexuality. So, and how Osho came into my life and changed my perspective on sexuality, how Tantra came into my life and changed my perspective on intimate relationships. So, I share my views on this particular aspect of intimate relationships between a couple. So, this chapter is also very dear to me, which I had to question myself if I even wanted to share this chapter. Because generally, yeah, it's a taboo topic. People don't talk about it.
Yes.
But I decided that no, that it was time to open up, to speak one's truth. These are some of the chapters, and in the end, I write a love letter to Sir, which is very dear to me, and I would like to read that couple of lines to you.
Yeah. So before coming to this last quote, could you please share your message from this topic? Like how should be sexual relationship and how should be the couple relationship? How should be the ideal relationship between couple?
Yes. So generally, what happens in normal households is that the woman is working all day long. She goes to office and she works for home also. She's dead tired, and the man forces himself upon her. So this is the normal scenario, and this is not how a sexual relationship should be like. It should give us a sense of beauty. It should give us a sense of zero state. The zero state that you hit in meditation, that you also hit in a sexual state if the relationship is loving. And the act is not only about the act, it is about the moments that precede it. So it is about the moments of loving interaction, the moments of acceptance, the moments in which you share, intimate secrets, and you honor the other person's desire to have or not have a sexual relationship at that point of time. So that honoring is missing. Women particularly are so silent about their sexuality. Their sexuality is so repressed. The most beautiful aspect of a relationship comes from a woman, and yet she has no clue about it. She just performs the act because that's her duty. So she doesn't have the sense of pleasure also, because the pleasure is mostly for the man. So my message is that it is not simply about sex. Sexual relationship is not simply about sex. It is about entering into loving conversations. It is about holding hands. It is about being together in a lake. It's about so many wonderful things. It's not just about the act. The act is, and the act, one can also enter into it if both the partners really feel that the connect at that particular moment. So this loving, this loving union should be loving. The love is missing. The intent is missing. Only a physical thing is left. A very gross thing is left. The sublime part is missing. But when we started entering into meditation, it became a sublime thing. So it becomes very beautiful when you honor the other person, when you it becomes something of another planet altogether, I would say. Another galactic system.
Yeah, that's beautiful message indeed. And
Yeah.
so yeah, let's listen few lines from this book. So
Yeah. Yes. So the book ends with a letter to Sir. Letter writing, nobody writes letters these days, but I had this intuition that I should write a love letter to Sir. So the last letter is the love letter to Sir. I begin in a very different style because that is what I wanted to write. So I begin, "Hey old man, letter writing was a lost art to me, but see, you're making me do it again. In fact, I had been waiting to pen it down in the hope that it would reach you. You are rocking the heavenly spheres up there. I'm pretty sure you've taken the heavens by storm with music, meditation, readings, and much more. You have that itch we know of so well." And I go on, and then I end, and the ending reads, "You Maitre Buddha, incarnate, seeded new hope, new energies on the planet. Pyramid Master, magician, we love you. And now don't expect me to put sentimental lines like, we miss you. Nope, not one bit. Where have you even gone? You're working in us, through us. Keep showing us the way, old boy, like you always did. Till we meet again, all light workers." So this is from all light workers to Sir. This is one of my most favorite parts in the whole book.
It's beautiful, Kajalji. When you were reading these lines, I still now continuously I'm getting goosebumps. So this is really true lines from everyone of us.
Everyone, all of us.
Yes, that's beautiful. So what are your learnings from Brahmarshi Patriji?
I changed 180 degree. I mean, I'm not the same person. I would not recognize myself if I were to go back 7, 8 years when I was not meditating. I perhaps would not recognize myself because I was judgmental. I was complaining. I was a very bad parent. I was a loving wife always, but we would have fights. For the past 5 years, I don't remember us having fought.
Wow.
For the past 5 years, I don't remember raising my hand on any kid, which is very frequent on my part. Let alone raising a hand, I would just tell them to do what they love to do and not what the society wants them to do. They haven't seen me in that space ever because me and my husband, we both are academicians. So that pressure is always there that you have to perform. But I freed them from that pressure. And I freed myself also from that pressure. I gave them this space to follow their heart. And I became less and less judgmental. It's never like you are non-judgmental totally, but you become less and less and less every day. So I became less judgmental about my in-laws, and as the universe reflects what you are, so they also became less judgmental towards me. So that these are my prime learnings from Sir are that to become a good human being, you might not have third eye visions, you might not have, but to be in this world in a harmonious way, with the people around in a harmonious way, with the environment in a harmonious way, that is a sense of true spirituality. That is what I think I picked up from Sir the most. We pick up things according to our own vibration. So some people are very enchanted with seeing visions and all of that. I'm not so. That you're living your life harmoniously, joyously, spreading positivity, spreading love and light around. I think that is a sense of a beautiful life, and that is what I've learned from Sir. Service with a smile.
Beautiful. Yeah. Service with a smile, with a sense of responsibility and love. It's not only responsibility, but when we have that love within us, then only that service comes naturally.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah, that's very beautiful lines. Yes. So you learned a lot of things, but where do you see Patriji in your life? Like, what is his role to change you, to transform you?
He is a Buddha to me. I could think of him as a father, but no. Father is supposed to be a very authoritative figure. I don't want to look upon him as a father. I don't want to look upon him as a friend either. I look upon him as a Buddha Purush, who just was a bigger lamp which is lighting other smaller lamps just by his presence. So that Sir has been to me, lighting other lamps just by his very presence, just by his very small acts. is I mean he is very dear to me in that particular, that's how I see him,
Yeah.
as somebody who has attained it all and is now spreading it freely like the sun.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. So as you said, changing someone just by presence.
Just by your very presence, yes.
Yes. So when there is authenticity, when there is
Yeah.
completely transformation in that person, when parents are doing something, then they don't need to teach their children by
Yes.
words.
You become that.
Children
Yes,
will-
you become that.
Yes, yes. So that thing is there, of course. Sir never teach you anything. He will
He
not.
was
He
no
will not.
preacher. He was no preacher.
Yes. So when that complete transformed being in front of you, you will definitely change. And that
Yeah.
thing happened in my own life too.
Mhm.
So thank you for bringing this beautiful point. And Kachaji, were you vegetarian earlier?
No, I was a hardcore non-vegetarian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I relished non-vegetarian food. So that journey was very interesting. I was a hardcore non-vegetarian. I would eat even when my parents had left non-veg food. So I would hide it from them and eat because
Okay.
they would disapprove of it. So I was so bad as that
Okay.
at one point of time. But before meeting sir, I had given up. I had changed. Some things I had started turning for me even before meeting sir. So I had started transforming. Something had begun to shift. Perhaps we say that times are shifting and we are entering higher energies. So I myself dropped that with non-vegetarianism. And not only I dropped that, my husband also then eventually dropped it. So we became a vegetarian, pure vegetarian family.
Mm-hmm.
And that was perhaps one of the most beautiful things we could do. Today people are fighting about non-vegetarian foods being served in the hostels and not served in the hostels. And they say that there are bigger issues. Why are you talking about this issue of vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism? But violence begins in the kitchen. Violence in the world begins in the kitchen, begins in our stomach when we are causing violence to other life forms, and we expect the world there to be harmony in the world. We are mistaken. So this harmony begins in the kitchen, in our very own kitchen's world harmony we can cook.
Yes, that's a great sense of consciousness. And when you're meditated, when go within, when you are silent from within, then only you understand that how plant-based food is important, why it's important. Yes, that's beautiful. So, I want to know about your relationship with your husband. As you said that now you both are meditators. So, how it was earlier and how it is now?
It was always a love relationship.
Mhm.
We were always in love. So that's what I'm saying. I have not entered into meditation from a space of lack. People enter into meditation from a space of lack, don't have kids, don't have medical issues, spouses are not loving, in-laws are so bad, the job is so bad. There was no such lack in my life. So it was a loving relationship. But now, earlier also, I had great respect for my husband as a superior human being. But today I can, this book is a lot about him also. Before Sir happened, he was the master in my life.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm very grateful to him. Today, when I took to meditation, then he became very insecure that I was going to leave him. And as I told you, he had that feeling that I would leave him. And now, earlier we would always cling to each other. We were always around each other and still be insecure. Today we are own in our we are sorry. Today we are in our own separate spaces. I have a lot of readings to do because I do sessions for PMC Hindi also, as you know. So I have lots of stuff to read. He does his own thing. I do my own thing, and so we have blossomed in that aspect. Earlier we would cling to each other. We would crush each other's personal space. Now we both work as masters. He does his thing. I do my thing, and we are there for each other always. So that is a change. So from a clingy relationship, two people who are in the process of in the process of mastery. When they come together, they facilitate each other's growth, and they facilitate world also. They spread vibrations, higher vibrations in the whole world also. So because everything begins in the body. The body is the microcosm of the macrocosm.
Yes.
So so that is how I think we went several notches higher in being masters and meditators and lovers. So that is how.
It's loving, and beautiful transformation is there in the relationship. Yeah, having love is great, but growing together, is a completely different thing, and that's which is happening in your life. So that's beautiful. How's the relationship with your child?
I was very authoritative. I have suffered from major regrets. When I got into meditation, I suffered from major regrets that I have not brought up my kids in the right way. That I've been very authoritative, I've been very dominating, and I have done possibly every possible blunder in the book. I have done parenting blunder. So I was guilt-ridden that I had not done justice to being a parent. But then eventually, when I got in, when I went even deeper into meditation, I realized that there are no mistakes, there are only lessons, and the point of power is in the now. So I realized that there is no point cribbing about the past, which is no longer there. The point of power is in the now. So right now, right then and there, I changed my attitude, and I also started using food as a tool to spread love around. So my elder one would come home pretty late, and I would get irritated because I would have to get up again and go and cook for him. But when Sar came to my life, I realized that it is a means of spreading love. This is a woman's gift to her family. So I would look forward to him coming back and cooking for him with love. So that is how these are small changes that lead to big changes. They begin from these very small changes. Cooking for somebody, listening to them, being with them, giving them the space to follow their passion, and stop judging them. These are all those small things which changes which started happening when I took to meditation. And our relationship became less and less. It had started becoming very antagonistic. They had started becoming anti me. It is becoming less and less and less so, and it started. It's like a continuum. No, so more loving, a little more love added every day. That was what happening. That was how it blossomed.
That's wonderful. Yes, parenting is also a great responsibility, and that you explained so well. Thank you for this beautiful explanation and your time. So, yes, Kajalji, at last, a small message to our viewers from this book, from your life.
Yes, Kavita ji, I would like to read out the quote with which this book begins. This quote is from Dhammapada.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this quote is very relevant to the entire message that this book is giving. And it reads, however many holy words you read, however many you speak, what good will they do you if you do not act upon them? So my life has been a series of acting upon those messages which the Buddhas have given to us, to humanity in all times. So my message would be that you do what you talk about. It has to seep into your very consciousness. We cannot simply talk about things. We have to let them seep into our consciousness, and their meditation is the biggest tool to enable things to enter our consciousness. Second thing that I would like to say is, friends, that for those of us who have joined meditation and who have some kind of queries, question marks, doubts, then I would say that this is one of the books which is going to handhold you, because in each chapter I end with I'll just show you, friends. Each chapter ends with a tip. I don't know whether you can see it or not. There's a tip. There are some books that I recommend, and there are some videos that I found helpful. So this is how this book is structured. It ends with a tip, some videos, and some books. So you must read this book. It's not simply a book, it's an energetic transmission. And you can easily order it from Amazon or from Flipkart, wherever you are in the world. I think that's my last message.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kajalji. Thank you for this wisdom sharing session. Thank you for your time and your, of course, the transformation you have gone through. So thanks for bringing up this beautiful message to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.